This is Federalist number 10, part 19. I mentioned the 2 chapters of Howe's book, Making the American South, that are really, really good. We talked about faculties of mind. We talked about, like according to one scholar's take, is divides into reason, prudence, and passions. And another scholar will say imagination, reason, passions, and will. It's a combination of these play into how different human beings think, imagine, reason, and act. And the wiser a person is, I think that person will give reason the first seat, the priority, reason and prudence. And passions is something that you have to always tame, because it will drag individuals down, and with it societies. Another website that I've mentioned is teachingamericanhistory.org. You can find lots of good things on there. Summary of these Federalist Papers, and just it's a wonderful resource. It's been prepared. It has been prepared by Gordon Lloyd. In an email, I asked him what he would recommend for somebody that wants to learn about the Federalist Papers and federalism, and he said Madison's notes, James Madison's notes. There we go. You should be able to find it on that website, along with many other things. Or I showed you Farron's records on the Constitutional Convention. You should be able to find it there too. It's online. You can find it in many different places. Definitely take a look at this, please. And over the years, since I used to go to the University of Oklahoma, which you see the cap here, as well as I use the library at times. So as a sign of gratitude, I'll point the camera towards that cap with the OU logo on it. Okay, I will go to the paragraph that starts with "No man is allowed to be a judge in his own cause, because his interest would certainly bias his judgment, and not improbably corrupt his integrity. You will not let somebody be a judge and a jury." It's the saying. So you do not allow somebody to be the judge in their own case, because obviously they're going to vote, they're going to rule to their benefit, what's best for them. With equal, nay with greater reason, a body of men are unfit to be both judges and parties at the same time. He's referring to the legislators, okay? As legislators, sometimes you can look at them as people that pass the laws, and in a way they're put in a position that if you allow them, they will always say, well, the law we passed is best for you. We're the judge of it. Not only we are the legislatures, but we are the judiciary, so you better accept it. So let me read some more, and this will make sense. With equal, nay with greater reason, a body of men are unfit to be both judges and parties at the same time. So he says if a person cannot be a judge and a jury in the same case that they are involved in, a body of men, then a whole bunch of them definitely cannot be the same way. He's going to be referring to the legislators, state legislators. Yet, what are many of the most important acts of legislation but so many judicial determinations, not indeed concerning the rights of a single person, but concerning the rights of large bodies of citizens? And what are the different classes of legislators but advocates and parties to the causes which they determine? So usually a legislator is going to pass laws, okay? A representative is going to pass laws that's to his own benefit. And that's why you say you can't be a judge in your own case, because you know the legislator is always going to pass a law that is to his or her advantage. So he's almost becoming like a judge, but a judge that's judging to his or her own benefit. Is the law proposed concerning private debts? It is a question to which the creditors are parties on one side and the debtors on the other. Justice ought to hold the balance between them. Yet the parties are and must be themselves the judges. And the most numerous party, or in other words, the most powerful faction, must be expected to prevail. Shall domestic manufacturers be encouraged, and in what degree? By restrictions on foreign manufacturers. Are questions which would be differently decided by the landed and manufacturing classes, and probably by neither, with a sole regard to justice and public good. The apportionment of taxes on the various descriptions of property is an act which seems to require the most exact impartiality. Yet there is perhaps no legislative act in which greater opportunity and temptation are given to the predominant party to trample on the rules of justice. Every shilling with which they overburden the inferior number is a shilling saved to their own pockets. Here he's saying what's reasonable. Basically, he is reflecting, he's remembering the experiences in different states. It says a majority party, majority of people, if they can manage to elect people to their state legislatures, okay, then they can pass any laws that they like. And unfortunately, these laws might be unfair, unjust, and not to the benefit of the society they live in, to the state they live in. But because they have the majority, they will get their people they elect to vote for the thing that in the long run is not going to be good for the state, and in the short run it's going to be unjust to others. Let's say if in a state majority of people vote for somebody who is going to only look at what's best for the landed aristocracy, then the people who are into commerce, shipping, and are not landed aristocrats, they're going to lose. They're not going to benefit. And vice versa. If you're in a state that majority of people are into trade and commerce, then the people who are not are probably not going to benefit from it. And another thing that he finishes the paragraph with a shilling in one's pocket, like a dollar. If they put a dollar in their own pocket, they're taking a dollar out of somebody else's pocket. Their worry was what was, like I've said before, with what was happening within different states, that people who were creditors, people who had lent money, they were being forced to accept depreciated money. the money that had depreciated to, like, let's say, a fifth of its value. Or state assemblies were passing laws, like I said, they would call them stay laws. In other words, if I owed you money at the end of this month, and I had already asked you to give me 2 extensions, and I could not give you another extension, I could not tell you to bring the money back to me in 6 months, because I needed my money. Maybe I needed my money to take care of my family, take care of my animals, buy seeds to plant. I would come to you and say, give me my money back, please. And then you would say, well, we just elected some people to the state assembly, and we want them to write stay laws. In other words, they're going to force you to wait another 6 months before you get your money. So he's saying that these forms of injustice happen when majority faction is in power. So always remember, when they say the word justice, it doesn't mean just the way we use it right now. It means that plus sticking to contracts, paying your debt. If you were not paying your debt, or you were not paying your debt fully, and the law was stopping you from getting your money back fully, then it was an act of injustice. So that's kind of how they would use it at that time too. So keep that in mind.